Yo, what is going on, guys? Noodle here with a different type of video than I've really been expecting my channel to go. I kind of decided that I want my channel to be more of like a, help new players type of channel, because I feel like, if there's anything that's really going to help out Destiny, it's going to be new players and hearing feedback from new players and all sorts of things like that. But besides that point, I wanted to make a lot of content kind of geared towards how the game works for new players, and a series that I've been wanting to start kind of honestly for a while is a series based on helping the new player learn how to play PvP. Hey guys, post edit Noodle. I just wanted to say thank you for all the support you guys have been showing my channel lately. I think that we got roughly 40 subscribers from the last video that we uploaded, and the last video that we uploaded also got about 3,000-ish views and geez, almost 100 likes from what I remember seeing when I was looking at it. And that's just insane to me. I mean, my channel is clearly not very big, but all the support you guys showed it is, it really makes me happy. So if you guys want to see that video, I'll post a little time card up in the right hand corner if you guys want to look at that. But just wanted to say thank you to all your support, and back to the video. Now, I've been playing Destiny for 9 years. It's been a long time. I've been playing since Taken King, whenever that came out. That's 8 or 9 years ago. But I'm assuming it's back around then. And at first, just to kind of tell you more about myself and kind of where I come from as a player, I was horrible. Destiny 1 was my first real shooter that I played, and I was probably bottom 1%. I was horrible. And after, a long time of me playing, I eventually climbed my way into top 1% for ELO leaderboards, top 500 for different areas in ELO. Right now I'm way more casual, and those rankings fluctuate. Like, they go up. You'll eventually go up to top 500, and then you'll drop all the way back down to 2% or 1%, really depending on how many people are playing, and how much ELO you win or lose per game. And ELO doesn't really matter, KD doesn't matter that much. They do say something about a player, but for the most part, your KD doesn't really say how good of a player you are, or your ELO doesn't really say how good of a player you are, because there's a lot of really bad players that I've seen get carried, and they farm their stats and their ELO and their KD and everything. But that, again, that's besides the point. I wanted to make a series based on how to help the new player kind of get into PvP. And PvP is pretty daunting for a lot of players. Like, this is my hunter. This is the build that I've been using honestly recently. I just got this Slayer's Fang shotgun. This is the new exotic for the season. What are we in? Revenant? Season of Revenant, or episode of Revenant? I don't know. Everything's confusing me. But this is my hunter, and these are the weapons that I've been using. There's a lot that goes into PvP. I actually made a list here on my phone. Let me go ahead and pull it up really quickly. Okay, so in no particular order, these are the different things that I'm going to be trying to focus on in this series. Players build with their stats and their armor and their weapons, just all of these different things, your abilities, and just basically getting all of this going. I'm just going to say right now, the easiest way for a new player to get into PvP is to just take someone else's build and go ahead and use that. So if you aren't going to watch the rest of the series and you just want to kind of try to figure everything out on your own, as of right now, I don't even know what today is, January 9th, 2025, this build, it slaps. Like, it's been nasty. But for me, this is a build that I like to use. You could use either this build with a shotgun or a slug shotgun, but really it's up to you and what you want to do with your playstyle. So if you wanted to just take this build and try to run with it, I will put a dim link or a link to a separate video down in the description below. But it's basically just talking about this specific build that I've been using. I have a couple variants of this build. This one is actually prismatic, and these are my fragments and this, all my abilities that I've been using. This is a pretty standard prismatic hunter set in terms of PvP. But if you guys want to copy this, go ahead and just you know, copy what you see on the screen right now. You can go ahead and pause it. All right, going back to what I was talking about before. The first main point again is going to be your build, your stats, and how that all works. And I'll explain all of these different things in future videos. I think I'm going to try to make a specific video designated for each specific thing. So I'll make a whole video on stats and what they do. I will probably make a build video on how to make a build, or just kind of like what you want to do with that. Second point that I really want to make is game sense and map awareness. This also kind of ties into your radar and HUD awareness, kind of seeing like what kind of debuffs you have on the bottom left hand corner, your ammo, your health up here, you have your radar, you even have revive tokens in select game modes, which are not currently in rotation from what I understand. But you know, if Bungie ever decides to bring revive tokens back to PvP, you know, that is a thing. I don't imagine they will, but that is a thing. Our third point, that kind of builds into the most previous point that I talked about, being radar and HUD, but Crosshair is going to be in the middle of your screen, and this also kind of ties into your movement. So you can't really have good crosshair placement with bad movement. Movement and crosshair placement go hand in hand with each other, so I'm going to kind of put those both into the same category. But yeah, that point is going to be crosshair and movement together. That'll be, again, a separate video. Team and solo play, I feel like those kind of go hand in hand together. So yes, being a solo player, knowing how to be one is important, but also knowing how to play with your team is very important also. And knowing when to do one or the other. Like, yes, it's good to I'm not gonna say it's good to overextend. It's good to split off from your team and kind of like try to get a pick from the side, but it's not good to overextend yourself to the point that you can't get back to your team, or that you can call for your team's help so that they can support you. But you know, team and solo play, they go hand in hand with each other. These two kind of go hand in hand with each other. These next two that I'm going to be talking about, you have ability interactions, like knowing how shatter works, knowing how suspend works, knowing how freeze works, knowing how weaken works, and radiant, and all these different things. Understanding all of that, and then also understanding how lethal weapons are. So knowing that a Criminal's Dagger, a 120 hand cannon, at the time of the video being recorded, you can two head, one body. So you can hit 2 headshots and shoot someone anywhere else in their body, and it'll kill them at any resilience level. So that kind of goes hand in hand with the stats. A lot of these things kind of tend to work together. Knowing that shotguns only have a certain amount of range, knowing that the capabilities of your weapons and your time to kills and all that. So like knowing that a Criminal's Dagger's optimal time to kill without a damage buff is going to be slower than, you know, whatever other weapon. So example would be maybe like a 140 hand cannon or a 150 hand cannon, because you could 3 headshot and it's going to kill faster than using a 120. So just situational awareness with weapons and the interactions between time to kills and all that kind of stuff. I'll go more in depth on that later. That's pretty self-explanatory in terms of a lot of PvP things, but I don't want to just assume that everyone knows, you know, one thing or the other for PvP or for just kind of how a game works. Because again, this is a guide for new players. Old players, or more seasoned players, I guess, are going to potentially learn something. You might not learn anything at all. I'm going to do my best to kind of throw bits and pieces of every little thing into these videos so that hopefully everyone gets something out of it. But we will see how that all plays out. Next point is going to be score. So like when you have your HUD up here, you're going to have your score and your enemy score, and yours is going up, the enemy's is going up, and whoever gets to the most amount of points at the end of the game wins, right? Knowing how to play based on if you're winning or losing is pretty important when it comes to PvP. So I think generally, if you're winning, and you know that, you just have an overwhelming advantage over the enemy, you could potentially try to steamroll them. But if it's a fairly close game, you don't want to play extremely over aggressive, because then they're just going to take advantage of your poor judgment calls when you're just trying to be aggressive and try to take advantage of some kind of little bit of snowballing effect. It's not really as common when the skill levels are a lot more similar. So being able to read an opponent and knowing when you can and when you can't steamroll another enemy team. Objectives kind of goes hand in hand with score, but things like heavy ammo, capping a point or not capping a point. So sometimes it's good to not play the objective. Generally speaking, it's good to play the objective, but there's going to be a lot of times where if you play an objective, you're going to be throwing. So that's something to keep in mind. Knowing your mental state. So basically, if you're playing a game, it's pretty natural for a lot of people to kind of get tilted when you're playing. So it's kind of something that is a bit unavoidable for some people, but trying to keep in a steady, calm mindset. You don't want to, start raging at your teammates, being like, dude, like, you suck, like, why are you always doing this? Because if you're doing that, like, one, you're going to be tilting your teammate, and two, like, you're just not making it fun for yourself. At the end of the day, it is a game and you want to be having fun. That's the whole reason you even get good, is so that you can have fun, or if you want to unlock something, which is a different story. But again, at the end of the day, it is a game. I know I get tilted. Yeah. Anyways, next point is going to be settings. So there's a lot of settings when it comes to this game. Personally, I actually play on controller. I'm on a PC, but I like to plug in my controller and actually just play with the controller, because I've been playing console for the last 9-ish years when it comes to Destiny. So if I try to do mouse and keyboard now, it's just going to feel way too weird for me. And it's not really something I really want to invest myself in at this point, because I've already invested myself so much with being a controller player. Maybe if I started playing mouse and keyboard like 4 years ago, whenever Destiny 2 came out, sure, like, yeah, maybe I would, have input on how you should set up your keyboard and mouse settings. I don't. So this is really more for controller players. I know a couple of video settings. I'll just talk about those very briefly, and I'll probably talk about them again in the next video. But you basically want to turn off things like motion blur, and that's basically it. It's just make sure motion blur is turned off. You don't want motion blur, and then anything that increases your frame rate and resolution is obviously good. You kind of want a good mix of that. So my render resolution's at 100. And my frame is capped at 120, because that I feel like is pretty stable for my computer, and I'm on a pretty good resolution monitor. It's not insane, but 1440p is pretty good for what I need. Making sure VSync is turned off is typically a good thing for computers. But again, a lot of these things are preference. I like to max out my field of view so I can see more. You just don't want this to be too low, because then it's going to feel really, really weird. So I would say around 90 field of view is probably where a lot of people would find things comfortable. Adjusting your brightness. I like to keep mine pretty bright so I can see things pretty well. And then adjusting your screen bounds to be where you need them also is important. Most of you guys probably know a lot of these things and whatever. However, Those are really the main ones, and then obviously there's controller keybinds and settings that I will go over later on. You can look at these, and if anyone's like, oh, this guy looks like he's, you know, playing on a Zim with him turning this fast and being this accurate, which I don't really think many people would really say that about my gameplay, but if anyone does, these are just my settings and the way that I have them set. So my hip fire, or when I'm not aiming down sights, I'm going to be turning a lot faster than I would be when I'm aiming down sights. That's pretty much this video. I did not do this live, but if I was going to do this live, I actually am able to multi-stream now, and there's a way you can do that for free without really needing to have extras paying for some kind of subscription, which a lot of people are doing, unfortunate for them. But I would probably end up streaming this on YouTube and Twitch, probably nothing else as of right now. I don't really have plans for expanding my platforms at the moment. But if you guys want to catch me here on YouTube, obviously just hit the sub button, and whenever you guys want to come see some content, just come and check me out. I'm going to try to be a bit more consistent with uploads. But for Twitch, I think Twitch is just going to kind of be something that I have going on in the background. I think I'm going to start taking YouTube a lot more seriously than Twitch at this point, because really discoverability on YouTube is way better than it is on Twitch. So sorry if you guys can hear my dogs right now. I'm going to try to wrap up this video. Again, thank you guys for watching. I'll put links in the description below. One for my build that I'm currently using. There's going to be a YouTube video that I'm going to be linking for that. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace.